Good morning, televiewers of My Media Prime Television. You're on to your favorite bilingual program, The Brief, where we always get to analyze the major headlines in the papers. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are still focusing on the assassination or the killing of journalist Anye in Bamenda as government points accusing fingers to separatist fighters. The separatist fighters themselves have claimed responsibility over the killing, stating that it was a mistaken identity. We shall dwell on that as condemnations keep pouring, coming from civil society organizations and other Cameroonians condemning the act over there in Bamenda that was perpetrated on a journalist over there. And of course, we shall talk about Ndian Conference, or Ndian Conference in the southwest region of Cameroon that clocks 1 year. And of course, the newspapers are taking keen interest in what has changed since the Indian conference that took place 1 year ago. And many other interesting headlines as captured by newspapers this morning in the country. Etape Quentin is here. Let's have what he has been reading in the French language newspapers. Bonjour Etape.
Bonjour Lasha, mesdames et messieurs, bonjour à tous et à toutes et bienvenue dans votre programme débrief consacré au décryptage des sujets brûlants abordés dans les journaux, les tabloïds de la presse écrite. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue dans ce programme bilingue. Eh bien, je vous souhaite bonne journée également. On poursuit avec cet exercice avec mutation qui titre en sa grande une malversation financière dans le secteur de la santé. Hôpital général de Yaoundé, l'argent fait les bruits, c'est ce que nous propose d'ailleurs le journal Mutation en sa grande une de ce jour. Selon Mutation, une dizaine de responsables sont placés en garde à vue pour détournement présumé des fonds publics. Une information à retrouver dans sa totalité dans la page 5 de ce tabloïd en kiosque ce matin. Poursuivons ce devoir quotidien avec le journal Le Messager qui s'intéresse au rapport de force entre les pouvoirs publics et titre en sa une principale Fondi 3, guerre ouverte, avec le point d'exclamation qui peut exprimer l'étonnement. Si l'on s'en tient à la page 3 de ce tabloïd en kiosque ce matin, la construction d'un marché divise le super-maire et le maire de la commune d'arrondissement de Douala 3e, Yaoundé 3e, Selon nos confrères, l'arbitrage du chef de l'État, son Excellence Paul Biya, est attendu. Le même quotidien parle également du sport et titre en sa petite une Cannes 17 les dessous d'une débâcle. En tout cas, je vous invite à parcourir la page 12 de ce tabloïd en kiosque ce matin. Parlons à présent de l'économie avec naturellement le journal Econews qui consacre à sa une primordiale programme économique et financier, la 4e revue de passé du scanner. Le journal de Pascal Dibamou explique que ce matin, la délégation du FMI qui séjourne au Cameroun depuis le 4 mai et jusqu'au 17 mai prochain a rendu une visite de courtoisie hier au ministre de l'économie, Alami Ousmane. L'enjeu de cette mission conduite par Semil Sanka est à découvrir dans les lignes et colonnes de la page 5 de ce numéro en kiosque ce matin. Et puis prenons aussi les nouvelles fraîches du journal satirique Le Popoli qui nous renseigne sur la politique Biya et Kamto vers un contrat de franc jeu. C'est une interrogation d'ailleurs. On peut voir deux personnages en dessin animé, l'un tenant un micro entre sa main côté du MRC et dit « Ouvrez l'œil, ça risque de se jouer plus tôt que prévu ». De l'autre, avec la pointinini sur les pieds et bien vêtu aux couleurs présidentielles, montrant un livre sur lequel on peut lire sur la couverture noire « Contrat », retoque en disant « On signera un accord d'acceptation de la défaite avant le coup d'envoi, ok ». Voilà, le même tabloïd titre en sa petite une « Guidère, une rébellion qui se cache mal ». Alors, on poursuit enfin avec cet exercice en santé avec bien évidemment le quotidien Éco-Santé. Le quotidien Éco-Santé qui nous présente en sa une principale gestion des urgences de santé publique. L'Organisation mondiale de la santé revisite sa stratégie au Cameroun. Le tabloïd de Joseph Mbengboum nous informe ce matin que les experts de l'OMS et ses partenaires se sont mis d'accord récemment, ici même à Douala, au cours d'une réunion pour trouver des solutions permettant d'améliorer l'offre de santé et apporter une réponse durable à la crise humanitaire, aux urgences de santé publique au Cameroun. Cette information ou bien cette rencontre a permis aux participants de proposer les idées sur la base des différents problèmes sanitaires qui affectent le pays, notamment le choléra, la Covid-19, les inondations, etc. En page 5, vous allez découvrir cette actualité. Le même journal au niveau de la petite une, juste à droite de sa parution, fait une alerte en titrant « Déficit du personnel de santé. Les hôpitaux publics du Septentrion sans dermatologue ». Nos confrères de la presse écrite nous indiquent ce matin que c'est la substance d'une enquête menée dans les régions du Nord, l'extrême Nord et la Damawa. Une information à retrouver dans la page 6 de ce quotidien d'actualité sanitaire à votre portée en kiosque à journaux ce matin. Mesdames et messieurs, voilà, c'est tout pour la revue de presse en langue française. Place actuellement à la découverte de ces tabloïds avec toi, Lasha. Good morning once more again.
Thank you, Etape Quentin. Good morning once again, televiewers on my Media Prime Television. Let's kickstart our exercise this morning with Echo's News, newspaper Echo's News this morning is interested in what happened to the journalist in Bamenda. We are talking about the journalist that was shot and killed by suspected Ambazona fighters in the chief town Bamenda. We shall come back to Echo newspaper this morning. Let's take Municipal Updates. Municipal Updates newspaper this morning is interested in what the paper says, time to create special audit body for councils. Digging further, experts say the head of state, President Paul Biya, should create such an institution to stop the misappropriation of funds progressively being devolved to councils to boost local development. Get the analysis of Municipal Updates newspaper this morning, talking about that institution that the newspaper is relaying the worries of experts, what President Paul Biya should to do, what they want President Paul Biya to do, so that misappropriation and the embezzlement of funds devolved to council will stop. Still in this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper, how Ambazonia fighters killed journalists in Bamenda is what the newspaper is reporting this morning concerning the death of Anye, who was shot and killed by suspected Ambazonia fighters. This morning the newspaper is narrating to us how the Ambazonia fighters killed that journalist in the evening of Monday in Bamenda. Get the full details of that story in this edition of the newspaper. Still in this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper, Captain Bu John elected Wekuda president. Get the full details of the elections and the profile of the new president of Wekuda in this election, in this edition of Municipal Updates newspaper, talking about the election of the Wekuda president, who is of course captain in the army. We leave the newspaper. We are with Volcanic Times. Volcanic Times newspaper is interested in the Southwest Peace and Development Forum, which holds soon in Boya. PM Diongute to address over 1,000 delegates. Conference to chart better ways to enhance peace and also strategize on development efforts deployed in the southwest regions of Cameroon. And this peace forum is coming 1 year after that which held in Dian Division, the division of origin of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Cameroon. We leave Volcanic Times newspaper we're taking you to Cameroon Echoes. Cameroon Echoes newspaper this morning is focusing on outreach as separatist fighters killed Bamenda-based journalist. Anye was shot and killed by suspected Ambazonia fighters, as we are reading in Cameroon Echoes this morning. Palm plantation hands motorbikes to resilient workers, writes Cameroon Echoes newspaper. We stay in the Southwest region to talk about the Southwest Regional Assembly that has donated medical supplies to 19 health districts in the region. Get the full details on page 4 of this edition of Cameroon Echoes newspaper that you can find on newspapers kiosk this morning. Let's talk the visit of the fount of Bamenda to his subjects in Douala. At visit to Douala, Bamenda fount urges subjects to support development back home. Get the full details of that meeting which took place over the weekend in the nation's economic capital, Douala. Here in Douala. We end this morning with the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is interested in the killing of journalists in Bamenda. Government accuses Amba fighters of killing journalists in Bamenda. Journalism associations condemn killing, call for immediate investigation into the killing. Government, according to the paper, has accused separatist fighters operating in the restive northwest region of Cameroon of shooting to death a young journalist, Anye Nde Nso, in Bamenda. The pronouncement is contained in a release issued yesterday, May 8, 2023, by the Senior Divisional Officer SDO of Mezam Division, Simon Emile Mo, and the administrator's release follows nationwide outreach and condemnation after the killing on Sunday, May 7, of Anye, who was serving as Northwest Bureau Chief of the Advocate newspaper. He was also a sports reporter at Dream FM radio in Bamenda and correspondent with an online sports news portal, kick442.com. Thank you so much, televiewers of My Media Prime, for watching. We are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning. Etape Kante, we are welcoming our usual resource person who is on the line while we await the coming of a militant of the PCRN political party of Honorable Kabara Libi. Maitre Alex, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Lasha. Good morning, Mr. Etape. Good morning to your wonderful team and the beautiful people of the Cameroons. I want to use your platform today to talk about Mr. Anye Che. I can see the dichotomy between the French newspaper and the English newspaper in the Cameroons. It's very disappointing that most of the newspapers in the French-speaking part of Cameroon, they are not carrying that headline. If it was Zogo, Martinez Zogo, all of them, they are talking about it. And I must state it, it's a factual thing. Everybody can see it. If the French newspaper in Cameroon think that the life of an English journalist is different from Martinez Zogo, let it be.
Okay, Maitre, let's thank you for that remark there. Of course, the publishers of different French newspapers, they've gotten the message and definitely they will work on that. As we've had so many outings, starting from the Committee to Protect Journalists, reporting on that. We equally have the English-speaking, an association for the English-speaking journalists, Kamasech, Cameroon Association of English-Speaking Journalists. They also sent out a note. We also have Cameroon Journalist Trade Union that also sent out another release, and of course government speaking through the Senior Divisional Officer for Mezam Division, pointing accusing fingers at separatist fighters. And even before the fingers were being pointed to separatist fighters, they had already claimed responsibility over the killing, saying that it was a mistaken identity. Maitre Alex, war crime.
Yeah, the problem to which I will state it quite clearly and quite frankly is that this, whatever you call them, the fighters, if they are fighters, what are they doing in a civilian environment? One, they should know when they are operating, it's a war crime to be operating inside a civilian environment. They should know that it's a war crime and there's no limitation when it comes to committing such crimes, because one day you might be held accountable. The people, Hitler or the people in Rwanda, they are still prosecuting some of them. If you really believe you're fighting or whatever name you call them, they know where to go and fight. You don't need to be mingling with civilians. So know that those are war crimes that you're committing. You should not be in a civilian environment.
Maitre Alex, I'm sure you must have watched the despicable video sent out by the so-called separatist leader based in Hong Kong or in China, talking about the issue of mistaken identity, that they had a target. There's somebody, a commissioner they wanted to target. That's why they came to the bar, and what happened. Is that not clear evidence? What is the Hong Kong or the Chinese government still doing?
Madness, Mr. Lasha, this madness has been going for about 7 years now. They know where the governor lives, they know where the commissioner lives, they know the military barrack, they know the police station, so they can't. That's not an excuse. If you are a fighter for 7 years, I've never heard these people saying that I'm going to attack a military barrack. They are fighting the government. The government is the military. They are not fighting them. They are fighting the population. We know what is happening. When you come and talk, they say black. There's no black leg at the end of the day. To me, they are cowards. You cannot say you're fighting for anglophones, then you're killing anglophones. You're a coward. You're not fighting for them. To me, I will never even give them that name that they call themselves. I'll often say they are criminals. They are criminals. They are drug addicts and they are criminals, whether they like it or not. I myself am fighting for the interests of the anglophones, and I believe this could be done through a peaceful way. You don't need to take guns, harassing people. To be honest, see, some of them, they have been fighting in some area in the anglophone region. I've never seen them heading to Yaoundé to go and overthrow Paul Biya. What are you doing in the provinces? The government is in Yaoundé. The militaries are there. So you cannot see harassing your own people, kidnapping people for ransom, making money. I know what they are doing. Most of these people, they are very, very wealthy. You kidnap people for ransom, then you say you're fighting for anglophone. I won't even give them that name, that separatists. They are not separatists, they are criminals. That's it. That's how I've always seen them.
So how are criminals supposed to be treated in this kind of context? You hardly would you identify.
I'll give you an example. In 1992, when the presidential election was disputed, it's in 1992. What did Mr. Biya? Mr. Biya did what? Mr. Biya called for what? A state of emergency in the northwest region. They are killing people, attacking civilians, raping our children, gunning school, hospital for 7 years. Mr. Biya cannot use his constitutional power and say, let's put a state of emergency in those. But Mr. Biya is not doing it. I don't know his motive. If you can put a state of emergency just because of an election, then take it into consideration the atrocity that they are beheading people's head. I believe, it's my opinion, as the president of a country, Mr. Biya has been silenced. My question is, do Mr. Biya really care about anglophones?
Maitre Alex, let me stop you there. You keep saying Mr. Biya silent. Let's now bring in the international community. What are they doing with all these alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity? Is the international community not watching what is happening in the northwest and southwest?
Mr. Lasha, to be honest, I look at the international community different from most people in the world, including people in Cameroon. I don't look at them as if they are a genuine people I can always turn to. If you look at what we call the UN, the international community, who are these people? The people who enslave us. The people who colonized us, which was illegal. The people who were promoting apartheid. So to me, I don't look at international community the way most of you look at it. I look at them, they are criminals. They came to Africa to loot our natural resources. So do you think these wars that is happening mostly in Africans these days, do you think they are not happy? They are happy. When you're fighting each other, they take their natural resources. We have ambassadors in Cameroon. They will sit and they will say whatever they say, but behind the scene, they laugh at us. Former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Mr. Tony Blair, before when there was a problem in Sierra Leone, he bypassed his international obligation and intervened and stopped the war in Sierra Leone. But when you talk about Cameroon, some quarters of the international community will say what? Oh, it's an internal problem. No, it's not an internal problem. We did not give them that permission to create Rio dos Cameroons. We did not. They came there and illegally they created a country. So if there's a problem there, it is their problem. They should come and solve it.
So when you understand that, why keep fighting yourself and killing your own people? If you understand that,
Mr. Lasha, I don't fight. My fight is politically. The problem is, Mr. Lasha, a lot of our people are very ignorant. When I see the people who call themselves separatists in quote, you see a lot of them, you see their background, they don't understand a lot of things. You cannot go and be fighting a government. They don't know what's the military manual. They have never read them things on war crime. They don't know all those things. You just jump, you say you're a fighter. You're not a fighter. Military or paramilitary are professionally trained people. So these people, when you see them, I don't like to use that word illiterate because those people who discover education, they were illiterate. So I wouldn't really call them that they are illiterate. But if you look at them, they are a bunch of people who are so ignorant, they don't understand how the international community or the system works. That is why from day one, most of these people, when they started these things, they look at me like a black man because I did not want to join them. I always say, those who follow the crowd do not go further than the crowd. Because most of them, they just sit. When they think, oh, international community will come. No. Only us in that country will solve that problem. And we can solve that problem by pointing out the of the government, what is the government is not doing, and educate our public that we can do better. For instance, we successfully got Bakassi from Nigeria. What are we doing with it? Nothing. So why is Mr. Biya keeping it instead of doing something like PPA, private-public partnership, and give it to people to develop that area so that our people should have a better life? But what are they doing? Are they taking instruction from France? Why are we keeping Bakassi? The oil is there. Why are we not using it? Those are the things we should be challenging the government and say we can have alternatives. If some of us, we are there, we can use these resources to better the life of our people. The best way, they say, the pen is mightier than the bullet. I believe that the pen, your voice, one voice is important.
Alex, what is the way? What is the way forward? What is the way forward? So much talk. We've been talking for 7 years.
Talking means, listen, yes. Mr. Lasha, you might not understand it. The government keep on changing its way of functioning. If you keep on pointing the mistakes that the government is making, they will not come and acknowledge what we are saying. Example, if I sit on your platform, I say, look at Etape saying that they should use witchcraft to kill Ambazonia. It's a criminal offense. They will not say it again. So they listen. They follow your program. So they will not say it. You might not realize it that when we are talking like this, they listen. If the government is doing something wrong, they listen to people. Example, Martinez Zogo was arrested. If everyone was quiet, all the press were quiet.
The guns have to stop smoking. That is the preoccupation of every citizen in the Northwest and Southwest. Guns have to stop smoking.
Mr. Lasha, there's gun in the United Kingdom. There's gun in America. There's gun in all over European countries. But the problem is, how do you bring security? One now, the onus now is for the government. There will always be gun till thy kingdom come without the anglophone problem. There will always be gun. There will always be criminal. I keep on repeating myself that the reason we have a criminal justice system in the Cameroon is because there will always be criminals. There will always be gun. And at the end of the day, to my opinion, it's an opinion. Those people who call themselves separatists in the Cameroon, they are not separatists, they are criminals. When you stop people, you ask them money, or you kidnap people for ransom, you are not fighting. To be honest, I've seen interviews. Some of those so-called fighters, they ask them what are they fighting for, they don't even know. They don't know why they are fighting. All they know there is money, you can kidnap, you can own people's house, people can pay you ransom. That is criminality. They are not fighting to liberate the anglophones. That's not what they are doing. You don't help the people that you claim to be fighting for. So at the end of the day, the onus is on the government. I've given you one statement. When this problem started, if Mr. Biya would have declared a state of emergency, I presume this thing wouldn't have skyrocketed the way it is now. Unfortunately, Mr. Biya can give a state of emergency for election, and he cannot give it for this serious thing. We have never seen people's head being chopped off in our lifetime. We have never seen people being kidnapped for ransom in our lifetime the way it is now. So if Mr. Biya cannot use his constitutional power There is a question mark.
Okay.
Because some people say, Mr. Bia have that idea that when there's trouble in our country, let me keep quiet, the people will get tired one day. That's not how you govern a country.
D'accord, Maître Alex Ndiver, merci pour vos décryptages. Alors, on va tenter d'embrayer sur d'autres sujets. Mutation de ce matin nous conduit à l'hôpital général de Yaoundé où l'agent fait grand bruit. Eh bien, le journal Mutation nous informe que une dizaine de responsables de cette infrastructure sanitaire est placée en garde à vue pour malversation financière, du moins détournement des deniers publics. Quelle analyse?
This is simple to me. I'll go back again. The paper talking about, I'm sure they to the man before in the hospital or whatsoever, and they're talking about poor sanitation. If there is something, this is how it works. If there is something about fraud in an institution, the police should come in and investigate it. That's a simple thing. The problem in Cameroon is that these things don't happen. I don't know what are the duties of a police. It is not even the hospital. If there's a director in that hospital, he calls in the police or accountant. Then they investigate the matter. Then they bring a report. If somebody have committed a crime, the person should be charged. Then it goes to court. I don't understand how they function there. But what I should tell you, the way I analyze it, in Cameroon, what usually happens, there's always this 40%. If I'm a director in the hospital, something goes wrong. I always have my own 40% there. So it is difficult now for me to say they should investigate certain people because I've also taken my own money. That's the difficulty in Cameroon. There is conflict of interest in most of these our institutions.
D'accord, maître, on est quand même informé que ces dizaines de personnes sont en garde à vue. Eh bien, l'objectif ou bien la raison pour laquelle ces dernières sont en garde à vue est connue. Est-ce qu'on peut espérer à un résultat très objectif ou bien à une issue très objective par rapport à ce problème lancinant de la malversation financière au Cameroun?
The problem, I will still give you a similar answer in the sense that most of the people who are this malfunction or malpractice in our institution, the people in power, they are responsible for it. We know them. We saw at Tanganakuna, he stole money, went to prison, he's out, he's still with them, he was in A2D. So the problem is, sometimes we are afraid to say it. The people who are ruling the country are the same people who are stealing the money. We saw the ambassador of Cameroon in Gabon with money. We saw Mebengo, all those people, Titus Ezwa, Desiree Engo, Ondongdong, Polika Abba. They are the same people. So can you try yourself? Can you report yourself to the police? The same people who are governing the country, they are the same people who are stealing. And if I should quote Mr. Bia, sometimes when people are corrupt in Cameroon, Mr. Bia says, if I'm in a proof, that's the head of state saying it. I'm quoting it. I'm not making it up. Most of you journalists, you know about that. So we live in a system where criminals are operating within the government. That is the problem. We need to clean the house.
D'accord.
Okay.
Peut-être je vais passer.
Yes, okay. Just finish.
Oui, on va également aborder un autre point de l'actualité, mais dans l'économie. Eh bien, dans le cadre du programme économique et financier, la 4e section de mise dans l'analyse, n'est-ce pas, de ce pan se déroule depuis le 4 mai à Douala. Eh bien, l'objectif serait de scruter pas à pas, tour à tour, les actions qui ont été menées dans ce sens-là. Alors, Maître Alex Ndiver, quel peut être l'enjeu de cette mission économique au Cameroun?
I'm not sure with the mission you're talking about, if you can clear it, Mr. Lasha. I'm not sure which mission.
Alors, c'est la 4e revue de passé qui est placée au scanner depuis le 4 mai dernier pour ce qui est du programme économique et financier. Alors, on se demande tout de même quel peut être l'enjeu ou bien la portée de cette mission économique qui se déroule dans la capitale économique du Cameroun.
Quatrième word. What quatrième word? What's the organization? I can get your question, but I don't know what quatrième word.
No, maybe we'll come back. You're talking about the economic program of Cameroon, the fourth review.
Lasha, I'm not getting you. Can you repeat it again?
Sorry, we'll come back to that, Maitre Alex. We'll come back to that. Apparently, your line is disturbing. But
I can hear you now.
Yes,
I can hear you now.
he was talking about the fourth review of the economic program of Cameroon that actors have been meeting in Douala for 4 days now since the beginning of the week. Rather, since the beginning of the week, they is asking what does it mean for the economy of Cameroon. That's what he's asking.
Mr. Lasha, to be honest, forgive me, I'm always pessimistic when it comes to economic program in our country, taking into consideration that the ruling CNU rebranded CPDM have been in power for 68 years. I'm still to see they are the main actor, as we understand, in that country. If there is something, Mr. Bia is not there. Know that nothing will happen because Mr. Bia is the alpha and the omega when it comes to our economy. He makes big decisions. At the moment in time, in course, they are talking about presidential plan for reconstruction in our country, and we know there are still ongoing pocket resistance in the northwest and southwest. So I don't understand why you want to do certain economic activity while they're having a war in certain place. I will always repeat myself again. I don't trust the ruling CPDM political party ever since I was in Commission Avenue, Manko, Bamenda, Mr. Bia promised a TPC port and ring road. I was present there. Until today, it has not happened. So forgive me if I'm so pessimistic when it comes to the ruling CPDM party. I don't trust them.
Okay. Yeah, Maitre, let me take you to the southwest region now. It's been 1 year since Ndian sons and daughter converged on Ndian division for the All Ndian conference.
The sound is gone again, Mr.
Yes.
I know you can hear me, but the sound is gone.
You get me. I'm talking. Yes, I'm talking about the All Ndian conference. It's been 1 year since sons and daughters of Ndian division converged on Ndian to chart a way forward of bringing peace and development to Ndian division. We are told that another forum for peace and development will be presided over by the Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, in the Southwest region. He will address over 1,000 delegates. Thus, the conference is to chart a better way to enhance peace and development.
Mr. Lasha, there is freedom of association in Cameroon, and I will encourage that people should meet. But when it comes to talk about peace, Mr. Lasha, let me say this in a layman point of view. Do they have the competence, the ability, and power to bring peace? The point is, Mr. Lasha, if you say you are hungry, a person is hungry. When you're hungry, what do you need? You need food. If I just come and be talking about peace, Mr. Lasha, there's problem. Indian is in Southwest region, and there's Northwest region. There is a problem of inequality, injustice. If you want to solve that problem, you address that problem. As Prime Minister John Gute, has he got that power to address those issues? I was in the National Dialogue. Prime Minister John Gute was the chair in the National Dialogue in Yaoundé. We were called National Dialogue for the situation in Northwest and Southwest region. When we went there, they were talking about the other 8 regions in Cameroon, but that's not what was written on the invitation. So sometimes, when I look at this thing, it's just playing to the gallery to go and visit your people and talk and come back. It's all hot air.
But charity begins at home, Maitre. You may want to agree with me. Charity begins at home. Peace might begin, yes, in Indian division.
In Cameroon, Mr. Lasha, in Cameroon, charity begins in Yaoundé. Most of the top brass in the anglophone region, they cannot go to their village. Charity begins in Yaoundé. All of them, they live there. Some of them, they cannot visit their village. And you cannot be saying that you are a leader of a people when the people cannot listen to you or you cannot walk free in your street. I don't know whether the meeting will be held in Dian, where is the Prime Minister, they will have security. But I understand. Some other people, sometimes when they have their meeting, they go to Boya. They cannot go to their villages, their local villages. So it is very important. I will encourage all these things, but at the end of the day, if you dissect it, you look at the package, you know, these people, they don't have that competence to solve that problem. There's only one person who can solve that problem, Mr. Bia and France. Nobody else.
Ok.
D'accord. On va aborder quelques sujets d'actualité dans le domaine de la santé. Eh bien, le journal nous propose que il y a l'absence des dermatologues dans le septentrion, notamment dans le nord, l'extrême nord, et la Damawa. Alors, Maître Alès, quel peut être l'impact de cette carence dans cette partie du pays? L'absence des...
You're breaking up.
Yes, the absence of medical personnel in the northern regions of Cameroon posing a problem. That's what one of the newspaper is telling us this morning. Eco Santé. Yes, Eco Santé newspaper is interested in yes, the lack of medical.
Yes, Lasha, can you get...
I'm getting you, Maître. Probably something is wrong with the line.
I'm getting you now.
Yes, Eco Santé newspaper is taking us to the northern regions to talk about lack of medical doctors, health practitioners in that part of the country. That is affecting.
Les dermatologues ne sont pas.
I saw something, Mr. Lasha. I saw a video, I'm sure in French. Somebody, a Cameroonian, I presume, is talking about they have a lot of medical doctors in Cameroon. They are being paid 50,000 francs CFA, and how sometimes they have to operate women cesarean because of what. So I don't know. This is contradictory to what a video that I saw a Cameroonian, and I don't know if it's a medical doctor, was talking about too many doctors in our country. But at the end of the day, if you look at that video, it's so scary what the man is saying, because our doctors are being paid less money. So sometimes you don't need operation. They have to do it to operate you, and sometimes they will prescribe certain medication that were not meant for you because they have to get a certain, which is so dangerous. And I think that's something the government need to look into. When we talk about not having doctors there's evidence too. I can support that grounds too. Taking into consideration that if you look, most of our bigwigs, our top brass in Cameroon, including the president of National Assembly, Mr. Nyat, and other top brass in Cameroon, I presume the fact that they always come abroad for treatment, I'm sure there's shortage of doctors in that country. That's why they always come abroad.
D'accord. Maître, le même journal Éco-Santé nous informe ce matin dans le cadre de la gestion des urgences de santé publique au Cameroun, l'OMS revisite la stratégie du pays. Quelle peut être la portée de cette stratégie? En quoi est-ce que l'Organisation mondiale de la santé peut faire sortir le Cameroun de cette incapacité d'assurer le service sanitaire à tous les Camerounais?
The problem is there is something which I believe is one of the best in the country, the National Health Service, which is in the United Kingdom, which is a trust. They handed and most hospitals here, they are autonomous. They handed it to professionals. But we see in Cameroon, there's too much political intervention in our hospitals. If you should allow professionals, doctors, other people in other field, nurses, they should be in charge to run our institutions. And again, we have the capacity, as I said when I was growing up, hospital was free. We have the capacity to make hospital to be free for everybody. The way they run our hospitals in Cameroon, they run it is as if it's like a government ministry. That's not how you run a hospital. Hospital is the most important part in a country, the heart of a country, health system for our people. So we should try to do something like a national trust and allow professionals. We don't need to intervene, politicians or whatsoever. Sometimes it's in the Western province. I understand that, a doctor was talking about people paying money before they were treated or so or whatsoever. So we should look into these things and allow professionals to do their work. It's not in everything that politicians should intervene. If we leave it in the hands of the professional, I believe professionals, they know best, and they will see the increase in the health service. You are talking mostly,
Mr. Alex, you are talking mostly of the public sector. What about the private sector?
You are gone again.
What about the private sector? You are talking mostly about the public sector.
Mr. Lasha, that's very important. Something I was thinking about the private sector too. Listen, what I said, we don't even need the private. So when I said National Health Trust, they should bring the private sector, and the government should be able to support them. It's what we call the GPs in this country. The private sectors here, the government supports them because health service is free in this country. So there's nothing really, yes, you can have private, the government subsidize them. They operate all of them like a public body, even if you're a private GP. Yes, in this country, you still have private hospitals which are limited. You must be very rich to go to those ones, because most often our National Health Service, they are good for everybody. So Look, the government should bring the private sector inside our health service and subsidize them. It's very important so that we should have the same standards.
Okay. In that light, Maitre Alex, we are told that the Southwest Regional Assembly, as per what Cameroon Echo's newspaper is telling us this morning, has donated some medical supplies to 19 health districts in the Southwest region of Cameroon. The Southwest Regional Assembly.
I've not got details of it, but I hope if they are the one who manufacture it, I'll be very happy to do it. But if they keep on taking malaria medication from France, from Britain, then they donate it. I want to see us, we should start making our own medication, like malaria medication, rather than taking things from abroad and trying to donate it. We should improve our technology. I live in the UK. They don't have malaria here, but why should they be making malaria medicine? Those are the things that disturbs me in my life. I see there somebody who think we criticize. Why you have malaria in Africa? They don't have it here. They are the one making your malaria medicine. So we don't care about ourselves. So it is good. They connect it so fast, it's going to benefit our people. I hope it doesn't disappear on the way. It is good. Every little helps. I'm not against them, but I would like to see our country start producing a lot of our own medication.
Okay, so you think we should start producing? Do we have the means to do that? Is the means there?
We have it, Mr. Lasha. Africa is the mother of all continents. People started living in Africa before Europe, and we keep on saying, have we got the means? Have we relegated ourselves that we think we don't think? We cannot be better than these people? We have relegated ourselves. Everybody in Africa has got a football team in London. Don't we have our own PWD, Bamenda or Kamak or Princess Boya? So we have to compete. The countries that have come out from this problem, in what like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, you copy good things. Look at China. We can do it. We should stop relaxing and think that we cannot compete with other people. Yes, we can. We have engineers, doctors, architects, lawyers. Who are all Cameroonians. I remember when I was still young, some of my relatives, they would tell me they were abroad. President Aigyo called all the professionals who are abroad, come back home. That's why some of my relatives, by then I was a boy, they came back home. And that's how they helped to develop our country. India is bringing all their technician, IT technology. It's taking them, bringing them home. Before, India used to do the same thing that Cameroon was doing, send people on scholarships. At some stage they come, they say, okay, we have you people here, what's the essence spending money? How much do you want? Come back home. That is what we should be doing.
So where did we go wrong?
Spend a lot of money.
Where did
Most
we go?
of my friends, they came abroad for scholarships. Today they are living abroad, working for people. Why should our country spend money for scholarship and allow Caucasians to use them? They are here working in the UK. People who were sponsored using taxpayers' money. The government could not bring them back. So if we can take footballers who are Cameroonians of different nationality, they are playing for our team. They were trained where? In foreign countries. So why can't you bring people who have trained, they have that standard, the nurses, the doctors, all those people. Why can't you bring them back Cameroonian? Why can Mr. Biano say, come back home, this is what I'm going to do, and let's develop our country?
Okay.
Alors, Maître Alex Ndiver, on va à présent se pencher sur la politique. Le journal satirique Le Popoli, arrivé à notre rédaction ce matin, dans sa parution, a scruté la sphère politique et a trouvé bon de s'intéresser à la relation entre le RDPC et le MRC et titre en sa grande une Mbia et Kamto vers un contrat de franc jeu. C'est d'ailleurs une interrogation. Vous êtes en dehors d'être avocat, vous êtes un homme politique. Alors,
breaking up, can you get me?
À vous poser cette question. Est-ce que son Excellence Paul Biya et le président national du parti PCRN, Kamto, vont vers... Non, pardon, du MRC, voilà, vont vers un contrat de franc jeu?
Yes, Maître Alex. Franc jeu. We are talking about Kamto.
Is it about France DFA?
No. We are talking about a game, a kind of game that Kamto is about to play with President Paul Biya. Le Popoli, in its kind of design this morning, is...
Mr. Lasha, what I will say to you, to use that word game is is very demeaning. Why? When you are in politics, you are there to better the life of our people. So sometimes I've seen people sometimes they say politics is a game. No, politics is not a game. Politics is about people's health, better water, electricity, better roads to reduce traffic. So I don't like the way when police say jouer. You cannot say Mr. Bia and Kamto and jouer. I don't take that way. Politics, we take it serious. It's about life and death. Whoever is a leader of a country, you are there. You have people's life in your hand. We saw what happened sometime. A woman in the Lakitini hospital was operated and she died in front of the hospital. So when you are a leader, people's life, a leader is also like the air that we breathe. So I will support the headline of police saying that and contract the NGO or whatever the interpretation I'm interpreting it. We should take politics seriously. It's about people's life. It's about people's health.
So if Kamto joins the ruling CPDM party again, you will not have a problem with that?
Mr. Lasha, I believe whatever happened, I don't see Mr. Kamto and Mr. Bia as the future of the Cameroons. I look Mr. Etape, I look at you, Mr. Lasha, I look at myself. We are the future. The time has come that I don't know how it will happen, but we are the future. So I don't bother about those people. Mr. Kamto, Mr. Bia, they don't disturb me at night when I'm sleeping. I'm looking tomorrow. I know things will change. I know we will change it. You will change it. Mr. Etape will change it. Cameroonians will change it. I am looking forward, in quotes, if I should take their way, the jouer, we will be those players in future, not them.
Okay, Maitre Alex, thank you for coming. Today's edition of the program. We're sorry our other resource person were not able to make it to the studio this morning. We are hoping that she will be here next time to tell us what she thinks about nation building and what the newspapers say in Cameroon. Thank you to televiewers of My Media Prime for watching this other edition of the program produced for us by Christain Tebong. As usual, Etape, Quentin and myself, Lasha Kingsley, were here for the presentation, hoping to be back tomorrow for the third edition of the week. Bye-bye from this end.